Today we're going to cover how you can maintain your high quality sleep and high level of energy even when you're traveling, when you're not at home, when you're out of your familiar surrounding. You can still have all the tools and techniques to remain focused, to remain awesome, and to perform at your highest level. Are you ready to begin? All right, well, let me get out of your way and let's look at the title, How to Achieve Performance, High Performance, Even When Traveling. What will we be covering today? We'll cover factors to consider when traveling. We'll give you all the details. There are 3 factors that we're going to go over. We'll show you how you can mitigate those challenges with travel and also how you can put them into action today. All right. We love to travel. I'm sure you all love to travel. Sometimes it's for work, sometimes for holidays. So the problem with traveling for work is often you don't get a lot of choice. You don't have a lot of time to plan, to prepare, to get everything ready. I think holidays are a lot easier. You have a lot more flexibility and you've got a lot more choices on what you choose to do when you want to do them. But for work, it's particularly challenging. What's often challenging for work is also there's an expectation that you have to go there and perform, especially if you're in the field of sales or consulting. When you land, you're on, right? It's time to get it on. You don't have time to worry about your poor sleep on the plane, your jet lag, and all that stuff. There's that expectation that if they pay for you to fly to a particular place, you gotta perform. So what can you do? There's quite a few things, and we're going to cover it based on the 3 factors of travel. We're going to cover each one of them, and we'll show you strategies on how you can deal with it. A lot of these challenges can also happen when you don't have control of your sleep. Let's say if you're a shift worker, let's say if you looking after sick ones and you don't have a lot of control of your sleep. So a lot of these strategies that I'm sharing with you, even though I'm talking about specifically for travel, a lot of them are transferable to any situation where you don't have a lot of control of your sleep. And this is a strategy of how you can deal with this. So firstly, sleep disruption, right? Travel means often, especially if you go a little bit further than your home country, if you fly halfway across the globe, like flew 18 hours from Sydney to go to New York for a training session. Sleep disruption, it's completely upside down. It's daytime where I am, but it's nighttime on the other side of the globe. How to adjust that? Now, if you're a shift worker, a lot of these are also the same challenges, and the challenge is sleep disruption. The other aspect is when you're out of your kitchen, your home, you don't have a lot of choice of food. The things that you usually have, often you can't bring with you. You don't have any refrigeration, you don't have any portable refrigeration, and there's quarantine rules in your destination country. So a lot of food you can't bring. So how do you get the food choices to support? That is the challenge. And lastly, you need to bring it on in your destination. You need to bring on when you need to, even if you're sleep deprived, maybe you care for a loved one. There are supplements that can help. There are supplements that help you cope, to help you, at minimum, bring a functional aspect of yourself to the job. Maybe you're not having the best sleep, so you're not maximize your full potential, but you are at least functional. You can do the job, and that's what supplements can help with. Despite all these challenges with sleep, with food, we can mitigate a lot of that, but there are supplements that can also take you to the next level. So these are the 3 things that we're going to be covering. You say, well, give me the details, Stevens. I know. Okay, here we go. Here are the details. There's a lot of information. So What that means is, if you've got any questions, put them in the comment, ask me, right? Ping me. I'm here for a reason. You can ask me questions. So how do you deal with sleep disruptions? Jet lag, sleep timing reset. When your home time zone is very different with your destination, what that means is you need to adjust to your destination time zone as fast as possible. ASAP, essentially. And if you can do it upon landing, fantastic. You landed, you're ready to go, your body clock is tuned, and therefore you don't need to spend the next few days walking and feeling like a zombie. We don't have time for that. So this is what we can do. How do you do that? You really want to establish your destination timing as soon as possible. Not waiting till on the plane, the day before, already start to know what is your destination time zone is like. So for example, if it's nighttime in your midday, but it's midday where you are, you gotta start to think about how you can start to wind down in your midday by darkening the windows, wearing glasses. This is where I'm gonna give you a few tips to how you hack your chronology, right? So we call chrono hacking, time hacking. First, make sure you manipulate your lightness and darkness based on your destination time. Light and dark is one of the most powerful way to program your mind, to program your body clock. So your body clock releases hormones in certain specific time of the day. So neurotransmitters are melatonin is released in the evening to prepare your body for bed, whereas you get a spike in cortisol in the morning. Epinephrine, norepinephrine to wake you up in the morning. And that is time. Your body has a clock. That is manipulated by there's light sensors. There's a part of the brain in the beginning, just around the front here, which you can actually read through your nose. And that is where your body uses the light signals from the eyes to send to your brain to decide what to do with your hormones. When you are supposed to be winding down, let's say your destination time clock is midnight, so it's midday where you are. As early as possible, starting from midday, you're gonna start to shut that curtain, control the light as much as possible. If you're on the plane and the cabin light is on, you can, as simple as put on some sunglasses. Air flight attendant might just think you're trying to be cool. Why are you wearing sunglasses in the cabin? Anyway, forget about them. You can look cool while you're doing this, right? You can hack your body. Now, even better if you can get a proper full spectrum blue blockers, like a True Dark. I mentioned this in the light and darkness manipulation for sleep. But essentially, you want to filter out all blue light, which is really daytime, as a signal for daytime, and trick your body to think it's dark, it's getting light. So start as soon as possible. If it's supposed to be evening in your destination, start turning out the darkness. If it's supposed to be daytime, but it's evening where you are, you're going to have bright fluorescent light throughout the house or in the cabin, or bring a portable light. So you can bring a portable seasonal affective disorder light, a SAD light, and just bring a portable one of those so that even if the cabin is dark, you have plenty of light in your eyes. Of course, be conscious of people next to you. So you're hacking your body, but be respectful. Having those light is going to help you start to program your brain and to get your body adjusted to your destination time. So that light and dark is very powerful. Use it to manipulate your body clock, to reset your body clock early. The other aspect is to use, so we talked about light, using portable light therapy. We talked about the True Dark or even eye mask for complete darkness so that you can sleep. Even if you don't feel like sleeping, you have the darkness anyway. And the second thing is melatonin. So melatonin, again, is a part of the circadian rhythm. Started with 2 to 3 milligrams 1 hour before your destination sleep time. So this is, again, I'm using a higher dosage. Normally melatonin, you probably don't want to go too high. It's one of those things where less is more. So starting with 300 microgram, which is like a lot less than 1 milligram. So 1,000 microgram is 1 milligram. So it's 1,000th of a milligram is 1 microgram. Normally, when you're just about a sleep aid to help you create good sleep rhythm, you only need a little bit of melatonin, about 300 microgram, and that's enough to trigger that sleep cycle. And the thing is, when you're stressed, when your body clock is not quite right, you generally don't release the melatonin as much as you otherwise would, because otherwise your body clock will really be adjusted. You're trying to reset your body clock, and this is what I would do. I would go for a slightly higher dosage, 2 to 3. Now this picture, it says 10. I think it's way too high. I wouldn't go 10. I think 2 to 3 milligrams just an hour before you're supposed to be in bed. So example, if you're flying in midday but it's supposed to be nighttime or bedtime, you will put on your dark glasses, you put on your eye mask, and you're going to take some melatonin an hour before you sleep, and that will already begin to start to reset your body clock. And lastly, make sure you time your food as if you're in your destination as well. So that's another element to support reprogramming and resetting of your body clock. So when you land, you're already adjusted. So you eat your breakfast, you eat your lunch, you eat your dinner as if you're in your destination timing. Now, that may or may not be possible on the flight. So if you can do that the day before, even better, and you might need to bring some of your own food. So that is what I recommend to help you get over this sleep disruption as soon as possible. Okay, and one more tip. This is a pro tip for those of you who's really into hacking, is to try use some kind of brain wave manipulation device. The one I've listed here is cranial electrical stimulation. And the reason I like that, because it's very convenient. It's quite portable. It's basically a clip-on the bottom of your earlobe, where there are nerves that feed signal into the brain. By passing electrical current through this nervous system, it starts to entrain your brain into particular wavelengths. So in particular, we're aiming for alpha, theta, and delta, which is the wave that progressively relaxes you to go to sleep. This is a powerful way to manipulate your brainwave, again, to help you reset your body clock. So during the day, you put on the beta wave. You stimulate brain to be alert during the daytime of your destination time clock. And during the nighttime, you use the same method to program yourself for rest and for sleep. And that is by doing all these. I mean, you can layer them. You can do all of them. You can do as much as you can. But this is what I use, so that when I fly overseas, I can land ready to go without having to deal with jet lag. And this is these are all powerful ways. The more you can leverage and take advantage of them, the easier it will be for your body to be able to adjust. And lastly, I didn't list it on the board. I do want to mention is to help with sleep also is to think about potentially using compression pants. Because if you're on a flight for a long period of time and you're flying cattle class, so economy, what that means, you'll be standing fairly upright and all the blood pulled to the bottom of your feet. So wearing compression pants will help push some of the blood and work against the gravity, so you don't feel as exhausted when you land. It's an ultimate hack. Try it. Buy some compression pants and see how you feel in your destination. So that's not so much about the chrono hiking of the sleep, but it does help you feel more energized and rejuvenated, even though you've been on a long flight. Okay, dealing with sleep. Sleep disruption. Another aspect of the sleep disruption is the environment. So we mentioned the cattle class. The cattle class means that you're like cattle, you're squished in a tiny space, you don't have a lot of room to lean back in business class or first class and have a proper flat bed. So what can you do? There's tons. Sleep environment, it's more noisy, there's more people in your area, get earplugs. One thing I find really, really cool is noise cancelling headphones. And these days, they're so good at filtering consistent background noises like the engine noise from a plane. When you put them on, you can almost swear that you're on ground. You're not hearing any of the engine noise. So that's one thing that a powerful hack. If you can get some really high quality, very comfortable noise cancelling headphones, they're great. If you can, a simple, cheap, like earplug that seals your ear canal, well, will also go a long way to creating a quiet environment for you to rest. Compression clothing I've talked about, and quality sleeping pillow. Here's one from turtleneck pillow. The really cool aspect is wrap around the scarf. So rather than a typical blow in the air to trying to get that shape, or you could be filled with some kind of soft sand. This is something that it doesn't take a lot of room. You can fold it and compress in a very little space, but it does, with a metal frame, create a very strong support so that you can sleep well. Invest in that. It's well worth your money to try and create as much as possible a good sleeping environment when you're supposed to be asleep, and again based on your destination time. Okay, what about food? What can we do? One of the most powerful skills you can have is learn to fast. When you can fast, you're giving your body what we call a metabolic flexibility. Metabolic flexibility is really all about how you can burn different type of fuels for energy. Majority of you, if you're not trained, will be burning sugar for energy. When you're low on sugar, you starve, you get really hungry, and you get hangry even, right? You want, give me food, where's the food? Well, if you have metabolic flexibility, it means that you can fast for 18 hours, for 20 hours, for 40 hours, and you feel just fine. In fact, you feel better than fine. You feel so, like you're on NZT48 in Limitless. Your brain is switched on, you're hyper-focused, you feel calm, you feel composed, almost like you're bulletproof, nothing can threaten you. And that is a power fasting. And when you travel, if you don't have good food choices and you have the superpower to fast, it means that you don't have to eat. It mean you don't have to eat the junk that's available in most airport or even plane food. Most of them are really, really poor quality food. So learn to develop this metabolic flexibility, this super fasting power is going to help you adjust and help you adapt to sleep disruptions and travel when you don't have a lot of choice on food. Alcohol. Now, if you travel on a semi-decent airline like Singapore Airline or Qantas, I'm not sure about Qantas, but most good airlines, you get unlimited grog, alcohol. We call them grog. I don't know if you call them grog in the US, but drinks, okay? Alcohol. So it's very tempting to say, I'm just going to drink up, I'm going to have a good time, and then going to doze off the bed. Now, just remember this. Alcohol is a stressor for your body. Now if you're on holidays, by all means go alcohol and drink up and be nice and relax and have fun. But if you're here for work and you got to perform, highly recommend you skip the alcohol. It's a stressor. Your body needs to process it. Even if you can go to bed, it's low quality sleep. It has a severe impact on your deep sleep. And if you measure it, you will see what I mean. So skip the alcohol. Now, if you do just really, you say, Steve, come on, give me a break. Come on, I work hard. I wouldn't mind a bit of alcohol. Well, I've got some tips, okay? So I'm looking after you. of what you can do. Okay, so to drink alcohol and mitigate the hit, I recommend taking some activated charcoal. Activated charcoal is a binder, so it sucks up certain toxins. So if you've got certain impurities in the alcohol you drink, you tend to soak it up. Now, ideally, you drink clean alcohol in the first place, so not beer. Beer is full of contaminants. It's really not. It's really negative energy for you. It's gonna suck energy out of you. So a bit of gin, maybe a bit of whiskey, that's okay. But activated charcoal is gonna suck a lot of the toxins from alcohol, and that could help with that, allowing you to drink a little bit. Now, glutathione is the ultimate antioxidant. It's one of the most powerful antioxidants in the body. They call the mother of all antioxidants, so you can see how powerful it is. In the liver, it uses a huge amount of glutathione when your liver is trying to pump the toxins from alcohol out of your body. Having extra glutathione is going to help. Milk thistle, again, help with the detox pathways. So taking those three things, I find that you can drink a little bit and really not get much of a hit. But if you can skip without, go without. But if you must drink, that is what I recommend to mitigate some of the hit, so you can enjoy a little bit, a glass or two. It's not gonna, it can be mitigated using the supplements. So that's what you do. What about food? What about eating? Butter and C8. C8 is medium chain triglyceride. It's MCT, but really, really powerful MCT. I'm not going to go all into science about carbon chain length, but just know that C8 is the best MCT. If you want to look into it, you can ask me questions about it, but just know that C8 is the better form. Grass-fed butter, butter coffee with C8 is fantastic, and you can go do a Google for fat coffee, butter coffee. There's tons of choices for which you can get a portable version of without carrying sticks of butter. That's what my mentor Dave Asprey told me, that he's literally carrying sticks of butter in a soap container, like soap, so he doesn't get any questions about it, right? Nowadays, you got more convenient powderized butter MCT that you can mix with instant coffee, and you can create that on a drink. And the reason I say that a really good option is you can do that instead of food. Those will keep you powered on, energized, and focused for ages and ages and ages. And you're not going to be feeling hungry, and which is great for travel. And plus, doesn't require refrigeration. All you need is go to Starbucks and buy some hot water, okay? Or anywhere where you can get some clean hot water, and then you've got a clean energy source without having to resort to eating. So we talk about few things about not eating. Now, if you do want to eat, you have to eat. You don't have coffee. Eggs are great. Even factory farm cage eggs. For some reason, the chickens are really, the mother hens are really good at filtering out the toxins. So don't eat the chicken meat. The eggs, even factory farm one, are fairly clean. And if you want to, eat a couple of eggs. Hard-boiled eggs, soft eggs. Ideally not pan-fried because they use crap oil. But if you can get some proper egg omelette with butter, all the good, all the best. Or even just, if you want to bring yourself a couple of boiled egg in shell, chuck it in the bag. You know, when I was growing up in Taiwan, when we don't have a lot of food options and we have to go on picnic, that's what I'll bring. I'll bring a couple of tea boiled eggs, which is boiled in tea. It's really, really delicious. Actually, one day I'll show you a recipe for the Taiwanese tea egg. But eggs work great. They're very easy. Come in their own container if you boil them. And just make sure that you don't eat any food that's gonna suck energy out of you. I call them energy vampires, literally sucking energy out of you. Fried, factory farmed meat, wheat, dairy. If you're about high performance and your work, and this particular work, is important to you, it's really, really important to you, skip the energy vampire and leave that for holidays when you want to cheat a little bit. You don't care so much about your performance. But that's what I will do for energized eating. Okay. Supplements. Using supplements to overcome deficiencies in sleep and the need for energy. What can you do? Okay. Well, I've done a module on nootropics. Use that. Because nootropic is a big part of the energy game. Nootropics are there when we don't have everything covered, but you need to perform, right? You need an instant fix. Therefore, you need to take a pill and you bring it on, and that is what they're there for. So the nootropic chapter has a bunch of stuff that you can potentially try and use so that you have disruption. But you need to perform, and that's what you take. You may not have a lot of time to prepare a lot of perfect environment, perfect everything, but you need to perform, that's what you do. But you don't want to destroy your body to do it. Right? They are so-called nootropics, that's really, it's going to create, they call it the classic psychostimulants like amphetamines. Right? These are things that's just going to create a sense of addiction. Cocaine, same thing, will massively ramp up your dopamine, so much so it just creates such a big effect you become addicted to the drug, and then that is not a high performance thing when you have this thing that rule over you and your life. Using nootropic intelligently is going to help you. So look at the module. Some things that I find particularly useful I've mentioned here: liposomal CoQ10 and PQQ. CoQ10 is an antioxidant for your mitochondria. Think of it as lubricant for the engine of your body. You have a little tiny power plant in every one of your cells, especially your brain, your prefrontal cortex, your executive function. So the reason I mentioned CoQ10 and PQ2 is PQQ. I thought I said P22. Anyway, PQQ. Your prefrontal cortex, one of the highest density of mitochondria compared to the rest of the body. Your heart has a lot. Anything that's very energy intensive, and your prefrontal cortex is where your executive logic, your executive function, memory, working memory, focus, intelligence, right? The intelligent rationing, reasoning is. And looks like I need some PQQ. But that is what you can take, especially if you're sleep deprived and you need to bring on. I find that I flew 18 hours to go to a training conference, and I literally was surviving all this. I had a massive jet lag, complete opposite day and night. But during those 3 days of training, man, I was able to focus. I was completely surprised, even though it's supposed to be sleeping time in Sydney. I'm in the middle of Atlanta, and I'm studying and I'm learning all these new cool stuff, and I feel completely fine because of liposomal CoQ10 and PQQ. Now, the unfair advantage is the bulletproof branded version of that, but you can look for other versions. The bulletproof version works particularly good. Another nootropic I find very powerful is methylene blue. Google it, find out about it. But methylene blue was originally used as a dye for creating jeans. So if you got a pair of blue jeans, it's probably got a little bit of methylene blue in it. It's very powerful support for the electron transport chain. Don't worry about that geeky stuff, but just think about it. It helps your energy. It helps your body breathe. Help your body breathe more effectively so you can produce more energy. And when you need to bring it on, you need more energy. And methylene blue can take with that, can help you. The general dosage is about 1 milligram or half a milligram per kilogram of weight. Now you got to convert that into pounds. You go to Google, convert that. But when you go to methylene blue, you can go and do your research and find out more about it. I've spoken about it in the nootropic module. Very powerful. It literally wakes me up. Like when I'm feeling a little bit low, not the best, not really, and I need to bring it on. That is my go-to. Tastes disgusting, but it works. And you might get a little blue mouth. And lastly, the eugeroics. Eugeroics are alertness promoting nootropic. Modafinil is one of them. Paracetam is not necessarily a eugeroic, but it does help in terms of your memory input and output, memory I/O, but basically putting into memory and taking out of memory. So it helps with that. It helps with verbal fluency. But these are the top supplemental stack I will use. I'll have if I really need to bring it on. Even though I don't have a lot of sleep, I might be not having the best of food. But these are all the strategies you can use so that you can travel and still be at your very best. Okay, what is your action? So I've given you a whole bunch of information of the strategies that I personally use to create the best performance out of me, even though I have to travel, even though I'm dealing with a lot of things that I don't necessarily can control, like food and sleep disruptions and energy. I hope this is something that you find useful. Now, what is your action? So if you need to travel today, your action is to go and create a travel preparation plan. What are you going to do for your sleep? What are you going to do for your supplement? What are you going to do for your food? Are you planning on fasting? Are you going to get some fat coffee stocked up? Are you going to get some eye mask? Are you getting some turtleneck, sleep pillow? What are you planning? Create a plan for yourself and maybe share it. Do your own research. What else would you do to help support your sleep, support your food, and support your supplement? What would you be choosing? Share it with the community and let us know. As per usual, any improvement in your sleep, your energy, share your experience. Because sharing is caring. That's what my daughter tells me. And it's true. Okay, when you share, you not only benefit others, you benefit yourself. All right, until I see you next time. Thank you for giving me your attention. And as per usual, let me know all the questions. Just ping it to me. I'm more than happy to answer them for you. Take care.